Hello there YouTube, this is Sibbles and Bits back at it again with another Inkbound Daily. Today is the solo daily for September 23rd, and we will be playing Clairvoyant, going from Silent Promenade in Derelict Starship up against Argoloth, and we have a couple of mods here. Start with 3 tiny hard stones. This is like, it's not bad. It's not like it's really contesting with anything, but eventually we're going to want to get rid of them. Healing pools only restore 3 HP, so doesn't really matter to us. As far as I know, regardless of whether or not it's supposed to work, the Sea of Ink after Guardians isn't affected by any healing deficits at all, like healing drought here, or there's stinging wounds, I believe, in ranked that reduces healing by a certain amount. Doesn't affect those for whatever reason. I think that it's an oversight, but I could also see why they wouldn't want it to work like that, especially in a daily scenario. But I don't know. And then we also have -1 will reserve, which is kind of a big deal for Clairvoyant, because generally speaking, you have to move your shard globe in order to, get it into a proper position. And if you want to set a pulse into Spirit Bomb when you have another source of +1 psionic shard, that can't really work. And move the orb, I mean. So getting prepared on telekinesis as soon as possible is kind of a thing that we're going to want to do. That's kind of something that you want to do on Clairvoyant anyways, because it gets you 1 will a turn, because you're almost always going to have to reposition the orb. Unless you're going Super Spirit Bomb, and you've got somehow you know that enemies are going to be in the AoE and you're just pumping it up and then blowing that up. Sometimes you don't need to. Most other cases you do. Anyways, go ahead and start this one. What do we got here? Everfrost of Arcturia. Okay. I don't really know how to feel about this one. At least it's applying Frostbite, which helps us a little bit. But the odds of us triggering Frostbite 100 times without, Vestige help is non-existent. And except for 1 Vestige, which is rare because of, the whole new tilt system and all that stuff, you don't really get Frostbite on this class. I don't know, it just seems a little weird. So it seems like another daily where we basically got a dead trinket. If anything, it's actually going to make our lives harder because it's going to try and force Frostbite onto us, and we generally speaking don't want Frostbite. We might go ahead and try it, but I'm not really too much of a fan about it. We also have fully augment bindings here. Not usually a problem. If we could get some source of plus money, that would certainly help. Okay. So now I get to decide if I actually want to stick to my guns or not. Lion's Share isn't bad. Especially if we're going up against Rinferno. That'll pop turn 3. And then maybe turn 5. And then at that point we will have +2 will in the fight against Rinferno. So we technically only lose 3 will. Or we could just get 2 will straight away. This gives us more will, but are we actually going to be able to utilize it? I think that we could. Open up with a Spirit Bomb, move, pulse, orb pulse, maybe move the orb again. Especially if we're missing one, kind of feels nice, but we're really going to have to get a handle on things. Otherwise, Whittling Mitts, +10 Frostbite damage, nothing to scoff at, especially when we got a source of Frostbite. Gives us another source of Frostbite, which is kind of nice. And it's on the nearest enemy, so we're more likely to hit them, theoretically speaking. I don't know. This is a little bit weird. Lion's Share would probably be the most reliable. Future Willer, I don't honestly... I haven't played enough Claire in this environment to know if Future Willer is actually good for us when you have -1 will. It feels like that would be good, But then you've got the rest of your turns where you've got nothing, and is Claire able to actually clear a whole screen of enemies on wave 1 in an environment where enemies have significantly more health? This patch just came out, like, what, 2 days ago? Cut me some slack, man. I think for the sake of, like, trying something different, we might actually take these whittling mitts and lean into Everfrost. So what do I want to do here? I could re-roll this, because most of these are kinda zero integers. You know that I don't like white crit augs. Like, it's nice when it works, but right now we need something that does something, especially since we have -1 will. We need at least one of our actions to be good. And gambling on getting a crit on Spear Bomb is not exactly my interpretation of doing something like that. If we re-roll this, we can get +30 on Spear Bomb. Pretty good. Or we can get +15, I believe it is, on... maybe it's +20 on Pulse. But also pretty good. It's something that we're probably going to be using quite a bit. We can do that. Oh, it's at... I'm thinking of a different... I keep forgetting that this thing exists because it's so bad. Alright. Honestly, Amplified Telekinesis is probably what we're going to do. Because then if we have a single target, it's actually technically more efficient for us to telekinesis over ourselves and the enemy. And it also opens up a whole bunch of other stuff if we get stuff that happens when we shield. Might just end up being a pinball wizard build again. It's not my fault that it's so fun and reliable. Mercurial, man. I think we want to go to a Quilling Cage. Getting a Cultivated Harmonies out of the shop, potentially, could be pretty huge for us. So this is going to make me suffer. I don't appreciate it at all. You're in this, so we can go ahead and pulse Psionic? I don't know. It's just too weird, man. This is what I think we're gonna do. God, that's not even gonna, like, kill these guys over here. Because you guys have 419. This is another Wave 1 combat, so... if we don't kill this combat, then we're gonna take a turn penalty. So we need to set ourselves up to win this turn 2, because we're already in the ditch. That honestly upsets me. I'm really not a fan of these fights with the reduced wave counts, because they did that for balancing purposes, apparently, and to make the game faster. So they took a lot of the fights that were in the game, and they reduced the amount of waves in them. But in dailies, you then start to get penalized after the first turn, which is an issue, because there's no frickin' way you can kill a 600 HP mini fridge off of someone's base kit. Yesterday, I got penalized for it, and I was looking into it, and the only way that I could have possibly won that turn 1 is not have gone there, because if I would have re-rolled the augments, taken the +30 on Cryoclasm, got 2 consecutive crits on an 11%, and Cryoclasmed the Figment twice, and gotten a drone after the first Cryoclasm, so then that would have not only done another 50 damage, but also procced another Frostbite. You still would not have killed that Figment. Like, that's how much health a Figment has, is it's supposed to die in 2 turns. And they're just like, yeah, okay, well, we're going to subtract your points, because You didn't clear the wave on the last wave. Okay, game. If you insist. Sounds fun. I think I honestly might take a critical pulse here. Another spirit bomb, maybe. Or not another, a spirit bomb. That wouldn't have helped us in that last engagement. Critting might have, but I still don't think that that would have killed. But if I want something to crit, I think I might as well go into Psychic Pulse. But getting some actual damage is probably the right idea, which would be Potent Spirit Bomb. God, I don't know how to handle this. We'll go reliable. Anyways, yeah, needless to say, I'm a little miffed about it. What could we do here? We could actually prime some charges. On Spirit Bomb, that's not bad. But we no longer have the crit aug for telekinesis so that it gets a crit charge without needing to prime it. So that means that we're gonna probably have to get like the +1 crit charge on this if we actually want to get anything out of it. We're going up against Mimic. That could have a single target attack if they go on to Minor. So then we can use After Image in order to offset one of those attacks. We're going to go ahead and grab After Image. I don't think that it's the best. It's probably Poison Vapors, actually. But, I don't know. I've already had to deal with people today and all that stuff, and I don't know where my brain's at. I also think that I have a bit of puppy love right now, because, when we got back from my nephew's birthday party, there was a couple of Pomeranian puppies running around the neighborhood. Didn't seem to have like any, like they had a tag that we were able to contact a company for them, but it's not like anyone was with them. We managed to grab one of them because it wanted to be with us. And so, oof, Cloak of the Conspirator? Maybe? I think that getting more sources of frostbite might be something that we're looking for. Anyways, we managed to get one of them. We corralled them in the house for a while. And the owner got in contact with us, swung by, just picked up the puppy. But it was the cutest honking thing that I have ever seen. I never got the phrase like baby fever. Like, you know, women will see babies and immediately want them. But that puppy was dangerous. That's all I gotta say. Oh, there we go. Is that what we want? I'm not sure it is, but what else are we gonna do? Let's go ahead, crit on this. Does a sizable amount of damage. I'm gonna use this. We're gonna grab this sucker. I think we want to pulse here. I really... God, yeah, my head is just not in the game right now. I don't know if we're going to get this treasure pod either. It's a little dangerous. Let's Mercurial. Gives us another crit charge. Bliss. Thank you. Yeah, that's not getting anywhere close. You're the closest person to me. Yeah, that's not really going to do it. We don't have that much on Hazard Aura. This pot's going to get away. So that's it. That's pretty much our whole game plan out the window there. We're going to take another turn deficit. I don't know how we're going to kill this 600 HP dude. If we had full charges and we crit, we would still not do enough damage. So we're not going to sweat it. We're going to kill as much as we can. I should have pulsed. So long as you're in here, you're actually not a threat. Because Hazard Aura will take care of you. We need to figure this out. Might be Trader's Dagger. If there's Trader's Dagger here, then yeah, the correct move was definitely... Well, it was potentially getting Poison Vapors for the multiplier. I'm willing to pick this up. We're at least poisoning enough to where that's considerable. I will take more Poison Chance just to get some more use out of that. Quicken Image is a thing. Shielding Pulse seems like it's not worth my time. Spirit Bomb, there's no I don't know why I would ever reduce this cooldown except if I knew that I wanted to upgrade this, and I don't. So I think it's Quickened Image. We are going to have to travel to a glyph node because we don't have enough glyphs. So we could re-roll this. What are we looking for? This is reduced cooldown of highest binding. This is damage. I forget what you are. What is your other green? Oh, your other green is one psionic charge a turn. Your other green is one psionic charge a turn. Honestly, could help. Think I'm about that. I know you have shielding aura as well. But if our whole plan is to make sure that we can do this on turn 1, that still doesn't, like, our whole turn would be Pulse, Orb, Pulse, Spirit Bomb. Hoy! This one's a little rough. Again, I don't know if I did it, or... Tell you what, Oozing Jelly will help us with Inferno, that's for sure. Blink, I like. Grasp, I like. Lightning Bolts, I'm alright with it. We don't really have space in our turn to throw a Lightning Bolt before a Spirit Bomb. And Lightning Bolt before Telekinesis is... it's okay. Grasp is a potential single target. It has a crit vector. Otherwise, Blink would... Again, every time I take Blink, it's basically just give me more orbs. That's all I want out of this. I'm not sure that we have a good thing for Mark, either. Like, it would basically just be 100 physical to somebody's face. That's why I would pick this up. This is 75 physical to somebody's face. And then sometimes I do some extra damage to everybody else. This has a lower cooldown, so obviously I like it more. Blink has the lowest cooldown, so I like it the most. It just doesn't do anything for us. It just moves us around, which has merit in and of itself. I'm definitely not re-rolling this. I'm just determining what kind of a... The game is asking me about my character as a human being. And I gotta take Grasp. Have we spent money? Remember when I told you that there's a very rare... There's one very rare clairvoyant vestige that we're probably never going to see. To be fair, it is just one stack of frostbite, but the 25 frostbite damage is actually why you take this frickin' thing, and it's an aura for aura surge if you get that. I did say we haven't spent money, right? So we can definitely spend 150 here. I'm about that. And now we will embrace the this weird ass frostbite clairvoyant. Okay. Okay. I don't have the will available to move this. So we are going to pulse. Hook, pulse. And then everything's pretty much on cooldown. Do not hit our auto. Thank you. And then let's just get out of the deadly circle of death. But we probably should have taken this too. Let's be perfectly honest. Yeah, okay, you're dead due to hazard aura. You're gonna take a little bit of damage from all the poison we've been hawking at you. Very concerned, by the way. This is not looking the best. Am I able to pull you out of there? Thank you. That means everything to me. We're not quite close enough. That is beyond tragic. Well, we're going to take 13. We full heal after this, so the damage isn't really that much of a concern. But we're not getting anywhere, and that's kind of what I'm mostly concerned about here. We have 54 frostbite damage, and we still can't like deal decent damage to this man because we have no stats. It's kind of embarrassing, really. Come on, man. I keep forgetting that he turns now. Okay, so we are in trouble. At least we perform some critical hits. You are going to face this turn. That's really not enough. This is turn 4. We're going to lose a couple more turns. I have to hit you in a way that you're actually going to schlorp past your little buddies, and it didn't work. No dice. Guess we're going to put you there. Pick this up. Hit him with that. Can't really run. We're going to take all this damage. We might honestly die here. It's hard to believe that that'd be the case against Inferno, but we're obviously not performing the best. poison vapors would be bussin' right now, as the kids say. I legitimately don't even know how I plan on like taking care of this man. Especially when we keep missing the crit on all that. Again, not the best. And I keep forgetting about that. Yeah, we're gonna die here. I don't feasibly know how we're gonna do 1600 with our current setup. Like, we're getting crits, that's the crazy thing, but I don't really have the will to just dance on this man. Yeah. So now's the part where I start looking at everything. What could I have possibly done? Let's go to this 10. Maybe not take Nidus's? It's kind of where we decided that our run was going. Even though I said at the start that it wasn't really going to help us that much. Yeah, like 71 frostbite damage, and it doesn't mean anything because I can't use will on this man to begin with. Again, also having no stats, no magic power, no ability power really adds up because that's technically a multiplier. I don't usually refer to it as a multiplier, but it's a multiplier. Adding a ton of base damage is nice and all, but at the end of the day, you do need multipliers as well. I think it was poison vapors. Because if we were using poison vapors, like we're getting decent poison damage simply because we're critting a lot. But this could have been better. Because we could have been just laying 30 on him at the start. So then that would have done 150. So at this point where our frostbite is dealing like 100 damage, we could have been doing this from the start, and then we wouldn't have used 4 turns just to phase him the first time. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, it's another thing is just that losing 1 will on clairvoyant is kind of a big deal. It's also why will aura is like like obviously everybody appreciates +1 will, but on clairvoyant getting +1 will just for being in your aura +2 if you have full power or fully charged, it's a significant difference on that character. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think that I was actually... I didn't have my head in the game, and... -1 will. Probably shouldn't have grabbed frostbite stuff. Like, every single time that I try to, air quotes, let frostbite work, it always just blows up in my face because it takes so much investment for it to do anything. Unless you're like exactly 2 classes with an ascension, which I don't think that that's how a status effect should work. Whereas poison does okay and burn does very well. Was also admittedly very frazzled about that turn 1 fight. Another impossible turn 1 fight. I don't know. Let me know how you feel about impossible turn 1 daily fights down in the comments below. Or, other than that, hopefully the run was educational or at least enjoying. Down here at page 9. Good lord, we did bad. Anyways, If you have any feedback whatsoever, be it questions, comments, concerns, misplay alerts, be sure to put those down in the comments below. And until next time, I will catch you guys around.